So in my early 40s, doing self-breast exams, I could feel that I had a lump in my left breast. And so, you panic right away. Your mind always, what if I cry? What if I cry?
It's all right.
Okay. You have this lump and you're young and you have these young daughters and you don't want to tell anybody because you don't want to scare anybody.
Also, a woman usually, or people in general, shut down. You hear the word cancer and you shut down, and even though they're sitting there asking you the questions, most of what I say for the rest of that particular visit, they might never remember because they've shut down. And that's normal.
Being a daughter of a mother with breast cancer, it was scary. It was very scary. I remember being at the appointment with my mom, and when she heard the word cancer, her face went blank. She didn't hear another word the doctor said.
It was a Thursday night, and it was about a little after 5, and when she called, I knew something was wrong, bad, and she got upset and was crying, and I was crying, and I was sitting outside on the picnic table, and it just it changes your world.
I never had a lump. You can do your monthly exams and think you have nothing because there's no sign of anything. But you can be like me and get in there and do that mammogram and you have cancer. And the only way they would have ever found my cancer is from that mammogram.
That was awful. Well, I don't think I even made it out of Atlantic. I was driving back, and I had callbacks before, and then they always turned out to be nothing, and it was always the other breast. So when this side it was on the left side, then I thought,
When we make that phone call for a woman to come back for additional imaging, their emotions escalate to an entirely different level. They no longer fear the discomfort of the exam. They no longer are modest. They don't care about exposing themselves to us. They fear for survival. In their minds, they're preparing themselves for the worst.
Well, then I would have my mammograms and they would always come back for a recall, and it was always at our conference times during school, and it was just an amount of stress that was ridiculous. And every year I would say, you just gotta go back, it'll be fine. But every year there's just that next level of, when's the other shoe gonna drop? When's it gonna be my time?
I certainly have the same anxieties that anyone else does. I've had callbacks, I've had a mammogram and then be called back in to get more views. And so then I got to go into the truck that comes and have the stereotactic biopsy and then have the anxiety of waiting and knowing if your biopsy was going to be cancer or not, and what was I going to do and what was I going to do with my practice.
the first few times you go in, I think I called them within 6 hours afterwards and kept asking, did you get the results? Did you get the results? And it's awful, it's terrible. The worst part about cancer is waiting.
It's hell. It's just hell to have to wait to see what your life is going to be. But that just shows you the level of anxiety that we carry for our families. You know, again, I got my daughters. In my brain, I'm going, what am I going to tell them? What will I write to them? Will I get to see their babies? Will I get to see them get married? It's horrible.
I want to emphasize that 3D mammography is not going to stop the development of breast cancer. but it will help us detect it earlier. And early detection is the key component.
Thinking back through the whole journey that we've been through, I've had this little bit of twinge in the back of my mind, thinking, what if we'd had a 3D machine? Would they have caught this at the mammo before, instead of now? Or even the mammo before that? And then we wouldn't have had this whole journey. When this started out, the first biopsy, when it came back, I was stage 0. And the plastic surgeon had said, oh, if you're gonna have cancer, that's the kind of cancer to have. It's very treatable and really no big deal. And by the time we were through everything into the surgery, we were stage 3.
Just a needed thing to have early detection, and whatever way that's going to be the best and quickest and most accurate, because there's a lot of false testing, and false have to recall back because you don't know, especially with, and I have dense breast tissue, and the 3D is much better in showing that or any problems with it.
It's just such a incredibly important thing to have early detection, because there's so much more that we can do for cancer now than what we used to be able to do. When I started practice back in the 80s, I was basically taught that once a breast cancer, always a breast cancer, and that it would pretty much always come back and kill the woman at some point. That's what I was led to believe, and that it might come back 20 years later, but just expect it. And that's what I thought. And now it's not that way. Now we have incredibly number of women who have had the treatments, the surgery, the radiation, and the medications that have come out, and it's no longer a death sentence. It can be taken care of if you find it early.
In 1989, my mother-in-law was diagnosed with breast cancer. She has since passed away. In 2009, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she is now a 7-year survivor. In that 20 years, breast health has come such a long way, and we continue to grow here with the invention and implementation of 3D mammography. It's huge. Had we had this technology when my mom was diagnosed, I'm very confident she would have been diagnosed a year earlier.
But 10 years before, my mom had a mastectomy for the same thing that I just had to have a lumpectomy, which makes, there's a lot of different things, and we need to have the newer and best technology to find this faster, so more people won't die from it. That's what I believe.
Now, telling someone that they have breast cancer is not anymore the worst part of my job, because there's such good treatments now.
And the nurse called from there and said that everything was fine. And they tell you, oh, when the nurse calls and says they need to see you, it's probably not the best news. But when the nurse calls and delivers, over the phone, then everything is good. And I was home by myself. And I sat on the couch and I just bawled. I broke down because I was so relieved that I didn't have to, any of it.
When I first, after surgery, and I was considered breast cancer free August 13th, 2010, because that's when my last radiation was. And whereas I've had cancer and my mom's had cancer, of course I worry about my 2 girls, and I want them to be able to get the best diagnosis and fast as they can too.
I just really, really feel adamant that, would it have changed what happened to me? I don't know. I'm not, we can't say that, but if it could change it for somebody else, we've got to do it. We've got to have it. you gotta laugh. If you don't laugh, you'll go nuts.
I've been grinding so long, been trying it for years. And I got nothing to show, just climbing this rope right here. And if there's a man upstairs, he kept bringing me rain. But I've been sending up prayers and something's changed. I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. Good, 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 good to be alive right about now. Good, 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 good to be alive right about now. Hallelujah, let that bassline move, yeah, say yeah. It's good to be alive right about now. I was dead in the water, nobody wanted me. I was old news, I went cold as cold could be. But I kept throwing on cold, trying to make that fire burn. Sometimes you gotta get scars to get what you deserve. I kept moving on, and now I'm moving up. Damn, I'm feeling blessed with all this love. I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. Good, 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 good to be alive right about now. Good, 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 good to be alive right about now. Hallelujah, let that bassline move, yeah, say yeah. It's good to be alive right about now. I almost cannot handle it. I could get used to this. I almost cannot handle it. I could get used to this. I think I finally found And it's good to be alive right about now.